Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back here in the video today. And today I'm going to be talking about Game 2 of the NBA Finals. We're going to be previewing Game 2 of the NBA Finals, which is tomorrow night at 7:30. It's going to be, I think, a good game. I think the Dallas Mavericks are going to make some adjustments that, if not help them win Game 2, at least make Game 2 a little bit more competitive. I think it's not just. I think defensive adjustments need to be made, but I look at a couple things offensively that Dallas needs to do better. I think they need to move the ball better. As a team, I feel like they really did that really good in their previous two rounds against OKC and Minnesota, and they did not show that against Boston. A guy like Luka Doncic, who's been excellent all season, only had one assist. Dallas was not able to move the ball at all as a team. It was all ISO, mainly with Luka, and Kyrie was terrible. Only 12 points for Kyrie. Luka was good. He got up to a rough start. Luka had a great third quarter, finished with 30 points. And didn't even finish off the fourth quarter. But I think I feel like they've, throughout the postseason and even go back to the regular season, have played good team basketball, moving the ball around as a team. And I feel like with Boston's defense and how good Boston's defense is, you got. I feel like Porzingis was a problem, and mainly for Dallas's big man in Gafford and Lively. I'm gonna get into those two guys, but Jaylen Brown had an amazing defensive game in Game 1. It's turned into a great defensive player. 3 steals and 3 blocks for Jaylen Brown. Also, Derek White is one of the best shot blockers in the NBA, led the NBA in shot blocks this season. Drew Holiday is an excellent defender, another great defender on the Celtics team. This is the best defensive team. Look, Minnesota's a great defensive team. I feel like they're a great coach defensive team as well. But I believe this Boston Celtics team is probably the best defense in the NBA. And the Celtics did a great job defensively in Game 1, but Dallas now needs to find out, what can we do differently in Game 2? And I feel like it starts with moving the ball better as a team, and they really need their big man they need their big man in Gafford and Lively to do better. They really need those two guys to do better in order to win Game 2, because Lively struggled massively. They had a hard time getting him the basketball for him to even take a shot. He only put up one shot that he made, and there were many times that they tried to get him the basketball, but just could not get him the basketball with great defense by the Celtics. They need to find ways to get the basketball to those two guys, meaning Gafford and Lively. And Dallas has been dominant all postseason with, either Luka or Kyrie, alley-oops with some of their big men, whether it's been Gafford or it's been, Lively, or it's been, some of the forwards in P.J. Washington and Derrick Jones Jr., but they did not do that at all. There was only like 1 or 2 alley-oops, pick-and-roll alley-oops between Luka and, Kyrie and those in the big men. They need to get that game going, because when Dallas, that's a lot of points for Dallas, because guys like Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford have been playing great all postseason long for Dallas, and for having those two guys struggle in Game 1, put up a combined 10 points in Game 1. If you look back to Dallas's Game 5 closeout against Minnesota, those two guys combined for a total of 21 points. So, I feel like one thing is the Mavericks really need those two guys to get going, and they need to find ways to get them the ball. And another thing I believe is this is an obvious one, but Dallas needs Kyrie to be better. Kyrie went 0 for 5 from 3 in Game 1. Kyrie needs to be knocking down threes for them in order for this to be a close game and for them to win. The reason why this Mavericks team only scored 89 points is because Kyrie could not knock down threes, and He's been averaging like 2 or 3 3-pointers a game in the postseason for them, if not more. And he's been excellent for them. He could not knock down a 3 to save his life. 0 for 5. Couldn't even score. Only scored 12 points. They need him to be better and knock down a couple threes. And they need Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford to be better. It would have been a closer game if they got more production from their big man and more production from Kyrie. I really believe it would have been a close game if they get that. But yeah, that's what I feel like Dallas has to do better. Boston, I mean, honestly, after such a great Game 1 performance, I mean, what has to be better? I would say for Jason Tatum, I feel like the turnovers have to be better. Jason Tatum cannot turn the ball over as much as we saw in Game 1. It wasn't a terrible game for Jason Tatum in Game 1. He had 16, 11, and 6. 16, 11, and 5. It was a good game. Obviously not a lot of points, but good production all around in his performance. But the only problem I really saw, and he shot 6 for 16 and 3 for 7 from 3. Shot plus 40% from 3, near 40% from the floor. He wasn't terrible, just didn't score the basketball a lot, but was getting a lot of assists and a lot of rebounds. But I think the only problem for Jason Tatum in Game 1 is, yes, you want him to score the basketball more, but when you have guys like Kristaps Porzingis and Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday and Derek White who are going to be scoring the basketball, Tatum can just sit off to the side, and he's going to see double teams as well. But I feel like the only problem for Jason Tatum that I think he needs to be different on, and he said it in his post-game interview, he needs to control the turnovers. That's something I think about Jason Tatum, potentially with them making improvements going into Game 2. And then I would say my second improvement for the Boston Celtics going to Game 2, you have to be better in the second half. Boston struggled scoring the basketball in the second half. Luckily, Dallas only outscored them by like 4 or 5 points in that second half. But still, they only scored like 44 or 45 points in the second half. They were great in that first half, great scoring the basketball. They scored 63 points in the first half. 63 to 41, I believe, was the halftime score, and they finished the game with 107. So only scored 44. I think it was 62 to 41. They only scored 45 points in the second half. They need to score the basketball more in the second half, and that's part of the reasons why Dallas outscored them in the second half. So scoring needs to be better in the second half. Jason Tatum needs to control the turnovers and maybe score the basketball a little bit more. But honestly, I really don't. Yes, we need. Yes, if you look at it for Tatum, yes, he needs to be scoring the basketball more. But I don't think he needs to score 30 points if Porzingis and Jaylen Brown are going to be doing what they did in Game 1. I don't see that happening again because Dallas, are going to be playing better defense on those two guys. So I would think that Tatum might need to do more offensively, with Dallas potentially wanting to, make some defensive adjustments going up against Jaylen Brown and Porzingis after having 42 points in Game 1 combined, and Porzingis only played 21 minutes. So for my predictions for this Game 2, Boston's great at home, but Dallas is also great on the road. I'm going to go with Luka having a great Game 2 performance. I'm going to say 35-plus points for Luka Doncic. I'm going to say Kyrie goes over 20 points and gets going, and hopefully Dallas also, includes their big men into things because they're a better team when Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford are involved. So I'm going to go with Dallas winning, but I think it's a very close win if Dallas wins. But I think either team can go grab a win in this game tomorrow night. Let me know your thoughts, and peace out.